Hi, Daddy. What you doing?
You doing the regatta shuffle right now? Oh, let's go in. Let's scoop it. Some coke style and thing. Well, let's go.
Yo, this is Dyson Knight. Welcome to Sup'm Show. It's episode 91. And we are here with a pair. Let me bring on the first pair. Actually, I'll do the grand entrance the way we usually do it. Hey, Hans.
Hey, Dyson.
You got on all the colors today.
Ooh, nothing like rainbow.
Oh, it's nice. Nice. And hold a second whilst I clear the stage for a moment.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. You should see him backstage already, man. Yeah.
I don't even know why y'all don't already know the protocols. Y'all know the protocols, bro. Welcome everybody to the Sup'm Show. It's your boy JP. We got Dyson Knight. We got Ants and all the flying colors today. Going to be joined by Dr. Kent Bazard and Tada today. So y'all tune in. Let's get it.
All right. Cool. Hey, so the doc said he was coming.
I send the link.
Do a little card shuffle right there. Okay, put myself in the middle. All right, so yeah, we, like you said, we do have a special guest for the show today. She's someone who I've known and worked with in the past. A government name, Terneille Burrows, but she is professionally known as Tada. She is an advocate. I've seen that a lot in her. Humanitarian, and also a music business, Bahamian music executive. So let's bring her on to the show right now and get to know her even a bit more. Welcome to the show, Tada.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. Juan and Ann,
Yep.
Dyson.
How you feeling?
I feeling super. How you feeling?
I feel a Bahamian today. I feel
It's
a little
Independence
Bahamian.
Month. You gotta feel Bahamian today.
That's what I was saying, because we had scheduled to do this open conversation, just talk about whatever, and then I realized that we're about to celebrate our 51st independence. Y'all know that?
Oh wow.
So, Auntie, you have to pick the black, aquamarine, and gold out of that shirt and throw away the other colors.
We could use the yellow.
That's about it.
That's about it.
So
Yeah.
let me
Today you
Yeah.
mix the blue and the green and it'll make something.
let me
True indeed.
let me bring the doctor into the show so we can really get things pumping. Okay. Dr. Kent Bazard, how are you,
Oh
sir?
look,
Sir.
Oh, he repping. He
There
he
it
repping.
is.
definitely is.
Oh, he's got
No Empire Fitness shirt today.
he got your Ricardo. You know what I miss? Speaking about Bahamian things now, because you coming here with this Ricardo. I don't know where that's from. Is that Bahamian made?
Yeah, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Ricardo coconut rum.
Oh,
I didn't know that they picked them coconuts where, Andres.
Dyson been gone too long, man.
I remember they had the Bacardi distillery on
Minute,
what was
5
that?
minutes, man.
Carmichael Road?
Carmichael Road.
Yeah. But I didn't know Ricardo rum was locally made. Shout outs to them then.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So
man.
all things Bahamian, and something about your bio stood out to me right at the intro to that. And that is that it says Bahamian music executive.
That's me.
But it doesn't read. Do you want it to be read that way, or is it just music executive and the fact that you are Bahamian?
That right there.
Y'all see what's happening here?
right.
You figure what's happening here?
I'm
that's all
learning.
good.
I'm learning.
Ferguson them who love rake and scrape, which I also love, but they are like, you say rake and scrape is his religion. He would always bring up this debate. What is Bahamian music? I have two answers to that. Can you guess what they are, Dyson?
One, music done by a Bahamian,
Yes.
and two, oh boy, the second one. Tell me what the second one is, because that's all I hear when I hear.
Indigenous music that is indicative of the Bahamian vibe, which is gumbe, rake and scrape, junkanu, etc. So two distinct definitions that both constitute what is Bahamian music. Moving right along, argument done.
Let us move right along. So everybody feeling Bahamian today? Yes, great.
Hi, K-Mac.
Hey, Mac, what up?
51
knocked
years
out.
old. We have the show lot. At 51 years old, and Tada, you are also a political hopeful, yes?
I thought you could say I also in my 50s, but no.
No?
I really thought I missed something just now because I thought you was going to say that I was 50, and I was like, no,
No, hell no.
there's no way that I was 51.
No way. I'm 44.
If you pass 30, you close. You're close to the 50.
Yeah, man.
Nonsense.
But the thing is, when I ran 7 years ago,
Nonsense, bro.
you know what the one question was they had for me when I ran I was campaigning from 8 years ago. Guess what they used to ask me all the time?
What is that?
They used to say, well, how old you is? Because I was 36 at the time, but they kept thinking I was in my late 20s. So that was the biggest thing I had to contend with. Well, that, and then what group you with again? And I was independent. So
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, that they'd even ask about your age, because we've had someone in Parliament younger than that, right? We've had someone in
Thomas
Parliament.
Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, in his 20s.
I think he was 21.
Yeah.
So
Brian.
two strikes.
And
Well, 2 strikes, young and independent.
yeah, what was that like for all of you, actually seeing a very young person in Parliament? Is that a good move? Is that something that we should have been continue doing since he's been in office, or?
Absolutely. I think that we need, now, then keep in mind, the population in the Bahamas, the last time I checked, was 52% women, 52% youth. So people, I guess they would constitute youth to be under 24, something like that. Or maybe it's a little higher. But so I believe in proportional representation wherever possible. So our makeup consists of people that are Rastafarian, people that have disabilities. So I think people that are youth, all of these different categories ideally should be represented in Parliament. And if there are 52% women, we definitely need at least half of the people in Parliament to be women in an ideal scenario.
So you don't feel as though y'all need at least 52% more men to protect that 52% women?
Oh, okay, I know.
I mean, in the international. Okay, let's go back in history, and I'm picking here, but back historically, when we first got our independence, when the PLP first won, and we elected our first black leader in Linden Oscar Pinland.
Majority rule.
Yes, that was great for us as a black nation, but it wasn't that great for us internationally, because we were no longer able to sit and have as much of a strong say or a voice internationally with a black leader than we had with a white leader.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I'll get over it. Tough titties.
You hear something?
No, I know so. That's facts. That's the reason. That's the reason why. Okay, well, let's jump into that. Let's look at.
I'll tell you this: when we first became independent, there were some parties who were, how should I say, nervous about the direction we were going to take, right? And that includes some of our very close neighbors. They're very nervous about what we're going to do. If we're going to align ourselves with anybody from any faraway nation, let me put it like that. If we're going to align ourselves with any faraway nation or any faraway ideals. And so I know that was a threat and that was a concern at first, but that was squashed pretty quickly once we made some declarations, and we made some declarations when we made our independence. Declarations that have nothing, that declarations are separate from the Constitution, right? So we made some declarations that we're going to stand for this, and we're going to be this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do that. So those are things that kind of squashed that. But even after that, it was still an issue. But to say that we didn't have a seat at the table, I think that maybe at first, but I think very quickly, because number one, of our strategic position, because of our strategic and our unique economy, we absolutely had to have a seat at the table. And not to mention the international interest in our country.
Okay, well, let's fast forward 51 years, and let's say what are we still claiming to be independent of, or what is still ours as a nation?
So we can't confuse the independence of the Bahamas, which happened in 1973, with majority rule, which happened in the 1967 election. And what I thought you were going to ask me was about proportional representation, considering the fact that we entered into the majority rule era largely because the women's suffrage movement were very, very, very instrumental in getting the vote for the PLP. But an interesting thing that people don't realize when it comes to independence and independent candidates is that in 1967, when the PLP won, well, they won, but they didn't win outright. The UBP had 18 seats and the PLP had 18 seats.
18 seats. Correct.
So the deciding factor in us getting majority rule, which is the majority of people in the Bahamas were Black, us actually having a party that was led by Black people and represented, well, it was a bunch of Black men at the time. That happened because there was one third-party leader who won their seat, Randall Fox of the Labor Movement Party, and then two, Alvin Brennan, who I think used to be a UBP, he ran independent. So those two independents held all the power.
Right.
So now we got majority rule because both of them decide. Well, I think both of them decided to go with the PLP or whatever.
Yeah, the majority rule conversation is one that would also have to include a lot about, I mean, it globally per se, and that was it's a very long story because you include the women's vote, women actually getting the right to vote, not, and that was something recent that kind of changed the tide. Before that, women didn't have the right to vote. So you take that along with even Blacks in certain countries getting the right to vote as well, which was just recently followed by, the emancipation and slaves actually being finally dubbed human beings. So it's a big, long story is what I'm saying. But when it comes down to now independence and being independent, meaning not having to rely on any external entities to support yourself as a country. What are 51 years later, are we still demonstrating an ability to claim independence?
Remember now when Kent and Juan and Anna, Ans and Dyson, when y'all decide to run as independents and y'all win your seat in your constituency, my constituency is the Elizabeth constituency. they winking at you, Anna. They say wink, wink. What has to happen? Okay, I can give you a hint. We have a governor general, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you swear allegiance and you win your seat in parliament, who you swear to?
The Queen, the King. Sorry, new things.
New things. Prince Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas them who get elected to parliament and swear to this do it. I swear allegiance to King Charles. What? Who? Why?
Right.
But we
Yeah.
independent?
So who would you question? So who would you, in your opinion, prefer them to swear allegiance to?
When I get in, I gotta swear allegiance to the people of the Bahamas. And then I say, oops, that wasn't who it's supposed to be. Oh, my bad.
Another question.
I mean, so so what does independence mean if we still swear an allegiance to somebody else in another country? Are we really independent?
What you say to that, Doc?
An alliance isn't the same thing as being subject, a subject. They're not the same thing.
So you think that, so what are you saying? That it's more of an alliance?
Because we have many allies. Are you
saying?
Let me Google that. What is the ally? What is the ally?
What is the ally? We have lots of allies.
Friend or colleague or collaborator, anybody who partners with you in any sort of way is an ally.
So is that what we're saying we are to British?
Allegiance isn't the same thing as servitude.
You want to ask?
I don't swear
I can't even
allegiance to
spell
King Charles.
ally. See, all over Google trying
Point
to spell
blank
ally.
period.
Oh, Lord.
I don't swear no allegiance to Prince Charles.
I agree. I wouldn't swear allegiance to any male at all, to any human. But I'm just saying, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing
Sabrina,
like
what up?
Turks,
What up? What up?
like
What up?
Turks and Caicos, like
So,
Turks and
like,
Caicos, for
what
example.
is
It's
that?
not the same
Salute.
thing.
You see,
Turks and
Sabrina
Caicos is
say?
totally different.
And Ruckus Man say, "What do we really have? And what is independence mean?"
Right.
So I mean, it's a
That's what
good
I'm
question.
saying.
Yeah.
I
That's
cannot
what I'm
answer.
saying.
I didn't give the Bahamas independence, so I can't answer.
Man, come
Well,
on, y'all. I gave okay, so an ally. I was trying to get the definition, but I can't spell it. And
Taylor
you
Washington.
you saying that you're saying that an ally is a friend,
yeah, an ally is different
right?
from a vassal. That's the word I was looking for. A vassal. We're not a vassal.
It's a
Turks and
state
Caicos.
But what does that
Turks and
formally
mean?
Caicos is a
cooperating.
vassal.
It's a
Turks and
Yes,
state
I
Caicos is
get
formally
it.
cooperating with another for
Uh-huh.
military or other purposes.
Yeah,
Mhm. But
commonly
Turks and
cooperate with
Caicos
another
is a vassal. We're not a vassal.
But hold on now. I want to get into this ally thing. Because for the Bahamas being an ally, you trying to tell me, like, for military purposes right now there's some serious wars happening, right? Russia at war with Ukraine. Iran is at war with Palestine or the Gaza or Hamas. Say Hamas.
Oh wow, Hamas.
Anyway,
Wow,
anyway,
Dyson.
Wow.
Nigga
anyway, you
trying to get us
understand what I'm
canceled.
saying? But yeah, no, I mean, no funny matter. I'm saying
No.
you have allies now, and you saying that the Bahamas is now. Let me put us on. Put me on, so only me one could be in trouble. The Bahamas
Please
is an ally to certain
take it off
nations.
me for once.
We are an ally to Britain. Britain being a big part of NATO. NATO being a big part of everything anti-Russia. Right? So you're saying now, if I'm sorry, Tada, I'm saying now, if
Push come to
things
shove.
pop off and it become more of a world war, because we're an ally to Britain, because we swear to the king that we got to go and fight on their side. That's what it means. Yay? Yes.
Fucking right.
Anyone. I
Radio
want to know.
silence. Radio silence.
That's what
I
it
want to know.
sounds like. That's what
That's
it
what it
sounds like.
sounded like to
Because we
me.
are allies with the United States,
Well-
we are allies with countries in the Caribbean, but we don't be swearing allegiance to them, right?
Period. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So it actually says, the oath of allegiance says, I, such and such, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, this was back in the day, the second, her heirs and successors, according to the law, so help me God.
Child, please.
So these people
Who is
enslaved,
y'all, Ruckus? Go ahead, Tada.
they enslaved Africans who ended up being Bahamians. And they
I
want
agree.
us to put their name in this oath instead of swearing allegiance to the people of the Bahamas.
Right.
I need
Skullduggery.
a drop it cool.
Let me tell you what I would advocate for as soon as I hit Parliament. You know, the first thing I would say, we need to
What's
get
that?
rid of this parliamentary situation, this Westminster system, and decide our own system of government that people who are professionals and whoever these 70, 60 something $million worth of consultant money they'd be paying to, let somebody come up with a system of government. People keep talking about a republic, but come up with one that suits our needs as a Bahamian society.
But
Yeah.
but it sounds good in what you're saying, right? And the plan sounds awesome. But majority of the time when said person gets in that position, these claims never really happen. Not
I was
saying
thinking the same thing.
not saying you're not going to try to make it happen. But there were many before you in the Bahamas, Russia, United States, wherever, that claim X, Y, and Z. We could even take this far back as who was the black president? He didn't really do anything. I didn't remember his name now. What's his name again?
Obama.
Obama.
You know his
Obama.
name.
There we go.
You know his name, yeah?
Yeah, I know his name. They're trying to create some controversy here. But anyway, he didn't. I could go back as far as when I was in California and he was about to get in. I mean, the people of color were just irate. And when he got in, the only thing happened is that he followed protocol.
I was going to say, because I think people who aren't in the sauce, you know, can have as many clean, good intentions as they want until they get in. and
Mhm.
all is revealed.
That part.
And then I feel like they have a better understanding of, okay, this is why this is why you can't do that, this, so on and so forth.
And to double down on my point also, not to take up all the screen time here, but to take up all the screen time here.
Go ahead, Juan.
To double down on my point that, there are people that will always be in power. No matter which way the election sways. They will
Right.
always be in power. They will always stay in power. So who's to say that those people even going to give that up so easily? That part also.
And he had to say,
Well, I don't know how
Yeah.
many of y'all know how many independents we had elected into parliament previously.
Mm-hmm.
Whitney Bastian ran, I think, for an Andrews seat and won. I don't know if you know who he is. And then there was Larry Cartwright, who was an F&M, but he went independent because the F&M caucus in Long Island didn't like the representative for the F&M, so they voted him in. I don't know how that panned out. But other than that, let's look at who actually ran as independents, but they had previously been with parties.
Right.
Pierre DePuche, Tennyson Wells, Prime Minister Christie, Prime Minister Ingram.
Mm.
Those are all the independents other than Alvin Brennan initially for the 67 election that I'm aware of. So if someone actually gets elected to Bahamas Parliament in 2026 or sooner when they call a snap election, that would be monumental. And for someone to even have the fortitude to remain independent and not be bought and go to one of the two major parties would speak a lot of their character. But that would essentially crack the glass ceiling in terms of the political makeup in the Bahamas.
Right.
What pushes that? Like what pushes an independent being elected by their constituents to
What do you mean what pushes? Oh,
what pushes them to join a party after winning their seat as an independent? You mentioned just you just threw it out there like being bought out. I know that's just a figure of speech, but what do we think? And I'm just talking about opinion now. What do we think that looks like?
well, let's look at We March. Remember We March?
Yeah, I remember We March. Mhm.
So We March was a big activist movement. 1,000 people downtown making noise. I was a part of the group of people that were there. So after about a year or so of doing these marches, which a couple of them happened, one day we saw the leader of We March show up with an F&M hat on and a We March shirt in a post. And everybody was like, what the F? Like, what's happening? So later we realized that Hubert Minnis promised the leader of We March a seat in the Senate if he would join the F&M. And that's what happened.
What is a seat in the Senate, or what kind of power comes with that? What are the benefits of having a seat in the Senate? What is the attraction?
A name behind your title, a name in front of your title, to rubber stamp essentially rubber stamp whatever the Parliament passes, the House of Assembly, which is the lower chamber. The Senate is referred to as the upper chamber, I believe. You get to have a platform every other week and say your speeches. But the benefit that We March's leader did bring was, what y'all laughing at? They have what?
You laughing at Ruckus man comment. Go ahead.
Well, Ruckus carrying on bad. Anyway, so let me say the good thing about that senator being appointed to that Senate post. They did put together an advisory committee to explore the feasibility of local government being introduced for New Providence. So what I did as a nonprofit organization, Rise Bahamas, was able to land a $250,000 grant to delve deeper into that proposal for local government for New Providence, put the information that they gathered in the advisory committee out there to the public, largely through social media. We did a jingle, we did some TV public service announcements.
What year was this?
Put it to the people. This was in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So, I mean, I just decided, hey, We March ended up being We Farce, but at the end of the day, let's see what we could capitalize from that was good that the senator did put into place. So that was kind of taking the baton and running with it from a different angle, from a nonprofit organization's angle of trying to create public awareness around the proposition of local government for New Providence.
I don't want to bombard you with questions, but seeing as though you're a special guest and you are way more politically savvy than I am, how much change can Other than there being 18 seats on one side and 18 on another, how much change can an independent do for the course of his term?
or her term.
His or her term,
So
5 years.
if you actually look at the makeup of parliament, every member of parliament is considered equal. So because Brave is the prime minister, that doesn't mean that he has any exceptional power within parliament. He does within the government, but not
Mm-hmm.
within the legislative branch, which is parliament. The government is the executive branch. And then you have the judiciary, which is a whole other thing. So when it comes down to it, every member of parliament, whether they're independent or with a party, gets a $100,000 annual constituency allowance to make improvements in their constituency. They're all allowed to join committees, one of which is very important, which is the Public Accounts Committee, which is typically chaired by the leader of the opposition. But as an independent, I could make a case and say, well, I would like to chair that committee or at least be appointed to that committee. They pretty much scrutinize what the government spends and works with the Auditor General reports to make sure that no corruption or stealing or bribery and stuff like that goes on.
You could say that, but how you could get on? You could say you want to be
I
a
have
chair.
a right to be on. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
I have a right
right.
to be on. Another thing about Parliament is all members of Parliament can, in actuality, present bills for consideration and debate by the MPs. Whether you're independent, whether you're with the opposition, you can put together a proposed bill and say, hey, I want to, for instance, I want to update the Child Protection Act to include that no plea deals are given when a man rapes a child and they automatically get a minimum sentence of such and a maximum sentence of such. I can put that forward to them for them to debate, and I'd agree or vote against. So when you really look at it, members of parliament have a lot of power. I fault the current opposition for not utilizing their powers as members of parliament to the full extent where they could actually go ahead and propose these sorts of legislations as well. I think that the COI is just as much or more of an opposition force than the current opposition party, and they don't even have a seat in parliament. So when you look at it, DNA at some point did have the similar sort of role from outside of parliament as well. So once
DNA. That's
DNA, the Democratic National Alliance, Branville McCartney.
Oh, that's the green. The
Green.
green.
Yeah, the green.
Okay.
The green.
Uh-huh. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm
I
so
can
just saying
remember.
it's possible to out oppose the opposition even without having a seat in parliament. So as one with a seat in parliament, I can guarantee you I'll bring all forces to bear to present the types of legislation, such as looking at a system of government change, such as child protection laws, such as repealing VAT and looking at progressive taxation versus regressive taxation. Yeah, all these things will be put on. And when they vote against it, the Bahamian people will have to uprise.
Ah,
Y'all have to do your part. This ain't gonna be just one person in parliament. This could be
I live in the U.S., so yeah, no.
you still a Bahamian though.
No,
So you can do a social media protest.
I'm a citizen of the United States now.
Same.
You still Bahamian, bro. And your
Hey,
kids
but
still get
guys,
Bahamian citizenship.
seriously though, guys, there's historically been recent times when I think something like what you just mentioned actually happened. I think there was an uprise when it came to the sale of BTC, was it not?
There was a march. I think at least hundreds of people showed up downtown. And that would have been what, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And if you notice though, Bahamians are dissatisfied. We just don't know no better than PLP or F&M because that's what for the past since 1960, so whenever.
So is the
But hold
problem
on,
that
I want to hold my
Go
point.
ahead.
The point is every 5 years for the past 20
Yeah, Dyson, be quiet, bro. Let her talk.
for the past, must see 20 or 25 years, we've been voting F&M, PLP, F&M. So it's clear disdain. But they're like, well, we ain't got no viable third option to vote for. So what else we can do?
we vote independent? Why are we voting independent?
No, because they want a group. They want a group.
Who's they? The Bahamian people.
The people want a group. We have a gang
Saxons in the
mentality.
valley.
Saxons
Roots.
in the valley.
But you know what I
Saxons,
find,
St. John's.
what I find, Dyson. I mean, for me, right? Let me speak as a voter, right?
Mhm.
And I don't consider myself aligned. I don't consider I have any allegiance to any particular party, right? So What's risky for me? And I try to listen to everybody. I try to really dig deep into what everybody's saying. I go and I look up and I read and I talk to people about things that people say when I can to try to
Yeah, because
validate
there's
certain
lie.
stuff.
There's lie.
Because people is lie on every side.
There's lie. Mhm.
But the thing is, and when you go to a group, you know that you're getting a certain kind of governance, or at least a certain style, or you get certain beliefs. When you go with an individual, you get that individual alone
Mm.
and their belief, and you have no idea. Not no idea. You might have some idea, or you might not have some idea what you're getting from this person. And to me, it's like a risk. You know what I mean? Because your vote is very important. So
Uh-huh.
to risk that vote on one person, most people ain't willing to take that because a lot of independents, very few, I think
Raise your hand to that. Raise your hand. Raise
Yeah,
your
my
hand.
hand raised.
All right, cool.
You ready? You finished
No,
what you're
but I'm speaking as a voter now. I've never run for anything, so I have no idea how that works or how it feels.
Well,
But I'm
here's-
saying as a person looking at my options, when I see this guy is from this party, this guy's from the next party, this guy's from the third party, and this guy is from something I never heard of before, he's very unlikely to get my vote.
facts.
And that's because I don't know where he come from, I don't know where he been, I don't know what he's done, I don't even know what he's saying. He just happened to be on the paper. So why am I going to take his box?
So I could probably run because a lot of people know me.
Boy, you take the word out of my mouth.
Well,
Yeah, you should run. You
probably.
should be a
And so
hummingbird.
those people who know you, Dyson, or if I run, those people who know me, they know what I stand for. But the vast majority of people who don't know me are going to say, "Who the hell is this big?"
If I run
Right.
and Bahamian people vote for me, I will guarantee that I would definitely shake that.
But it's easy for you to say that, right, Dyson?
I will be
Dyson,
coming
no,
to party.
no. And Ans just said this. Ans just said this, and Warren just alluded to this. It's easy for us to say that, and you haven't been in there yet. When
Yep.
somebody who on the ballot who already been in there,
Yep.
and they could say
Yeah.
to you, "Listen, here's what I'm going to do because I've been there, I've been around at least, and I could tell you, I should have some knowledge about how this works and some experience about how this works." Whereas you have this other person who's just your neighbor, who was just emptying his garbage yesterday, and now they want to run for a seat in
Honestly,
Parliament.
I trust my neighbor more than these randoms that these
Oh, I
two
don't-
parties is be putting on the ballot. Because someone has told me before, you could run a pot cake, an actual dog, not Leslie Miller or pot cake from Hubcap Man. You could literally run a pot cake, and that pot cake, if they wear an F&M or PLP color or symbol, will get voted in before an independent.
So what does
Right,
that
and the
say?
reason-
So what does that say about the people that's actually voting though? If they're willing to
Nope.
take that risk and vote for that said thing.
It
But this
says
happens in
that
every country. There's nothing
Sabria
unique to the
say-
Bahamas about this.
Well,
Yeah, it
yeah, I
does
understand,
happen.
but we're not talking about other countries. We're talking about the Bahamas right now.
Sabria is saying civics hasn't been taught to any large extent. So
I just put that back up there for that.
we don't really even understand how
Big
things
statement.
work. I would
Right.
venture to say we don't even understand our own culture as a people.
And
And
this.
until we can embrace these things, we
Right.
won't change the mindsets of the majority.
Mm.
I'm not the random person that you are going to vote into parliament because you don't know who I am. You're going to vote me into parliament because you do know who I am. And those who don't know Tada know the girl who ran in the election 7 years ago. Those who don't know that girl know Rise Bahamas. So when you talk about Google, you can spend a couple of days on there researching. That's one benefit that I have. And on my phone, I have 700 constituents from the first time I ran who I send messages to every week, and they know that I moved into the area where I ran.
Yeah.
So
That's
there are
Elizabeth,
things
right?
to do in Elizabeth constituency. There are things to do to set yourself apart and to kind of secure your place. It's not that the other major parties ain't trying to see if they could swoop me up, but ain't no price they could give me. They give me $1 billion and I ain't gonna run with them.
Pick
That's
me,
easy to
pick
say.
me, pick me. Somebody pick me. Pick me, please. Pick me. My hands up.
One-
Pick me. So I grow weary and bored of the political talks.
Mhm.
All right, let's switch lanes here now.
All right.
Can't take that smirk off your face. Anna, you too.
Hell,
Anyway.
you.
So
Like I said,
Tada,
take $1 billion. Yeah.
so I noticed in the background of your screen you have a Dyson, may you? I know you want to keep it on me all day, but please, can you put it on?
It look like
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Right. So I noticed it says
Like,
Hummingbirds United. Can you please explain to me and the rest of the people who may not know exactly what's it all about?
All right. So 10 years ago, before I ran, I started a group, a think tank, to
Mhm.
kind of be a support for when I decided to run independent. People who would put together platform ideas, people who would look at PR strategies and do like a lot of work that I, as an individual, couldn't do. So when they saw me as an individual, they didn't realize I actually had a team working behind me. I was able to raise 25,000 from private donations and a crowdfunding campaign to run my campaign. And I was actually, there were 8 people. That's the most that ever ran in one constituency. Someone who ran independent actually told me, Tada, come on, I come in to run too, so we could just give them a run for their money. He only get about 40-something votes back then, but it's pretty cool. So after the 3 major parties, the F&M won, Dwayne Sines won, then
Who was the 3 major parties at that time?
F&M, PLP,
and
TNA.
Okay, cool.
I placed 4th after them, and I got out of every fringe party candidate, not the third parties, but the other parties, and out of every independent in New Providence, I got the most votes, which is just a couple hundred votes, but that was still more than the majority of people. So what was the question again? Now I gone off on a tangent.
Hummingbird.
All right.
So I had this thing in place, and I kept the group together for 10 years.
Right.
And so when I saw that there was an 87% increase, Minister of Social Services, Miles LaRota, made this announcement in April. There was an 87% increase in reported child abuse cases in the year 2023, which is last year. Wow. I said, well, they must have thought I was crazy when I was running in the by-election after Obi passed away, talking about we need someone in parliament to legislate and put programs in place for child protection. Now they probably understand what I was dealing with. So I was like, okay, people behind the scenes in the think tank, it's time to go. I'm going to announce that I'm going to guide a league of independent candidates called Hummingbirds United. And they're going to contest the next election. People who I vet, people who I coach, people who I get ideas from, and we pool our resources. So it's more of a hybrid. We don't have a party constitution. We don't have elections, but we work together as far as possible. That's what Hummingbirds United is. And when I ran as an independent for Elizabeth in 2017, my symbol was a hummingbird, and it was based on this African proverb of this beautiful forest filled with many varieties of species of plants and animals. And one day the forest caught fire, and the animals stood on the sideline together in disbelief. Oh my God, our home is burning to the ground. So out of the corner of his eye, this elephant sees this hummingbird buzzing back and forth, and he says, hey, what you doing, hummingbird? So she tell him, I taking drops from the ocean to put on the fire. And he say, but you too small, you get burned up, and that ain't gonna make no difference anyway. So
I heard this, yes.
So the hummingbird, I'm the hummingbird. So I put my wing in my kimber and I say, well, listen here. I'm doing the best I can. And I kept on flying. That bird kept on flying from the river, from the ocean with the water.
With the water, right.
So when it comes to kids and advocacy, I put music on the back burner for 15 years. Right. In 2009, when I heard a little 5-month-old baby girl might have been raped and died in this country, I came from New York where I was recording with Shaka Khan producers. And I said, I'm going to put music on the back burner and become an activist. And I said, I'm going to fight for those children who couldn't fight for themselves. I'm going to try to find justice for them. And if it takes the rest of my life, I ain't going to stop fighting. And I ain't going to never let the PLP or F&M buy me out. So that is why I do what I do. And I was a survivor of childhood sexual assault at the age of 5 years old. Right. So that made me feel like, okay, ain't nobody stand up for me and fight for justice for me. I can fight for justice for kids in the Bahamas.
Right.
Okay. Fun fact.
That's beautiful.
I don't know if you remember, but I'm gonna juggle your memory slightly here, right? There was a show back in the day called Teen Summit. Do you remember the show?
Teen Spirit.
Teen Spirit. There we go. You remember that show?
Yes.
You were a part of that, yes?
I what? No, I know Stephen Moss, my group Supernatural.
I know who that is.
Yeah, he was
Ecclesia.
Yeah.
So that's Ecclesia. So that is Stephen Moss and Jerron Reckley.
Thanks.
Reckless.
Yeah.
Correct?
And Dana Knowles, yeah.
And Dana Knowles. I go back that far to, I don't know if you remember, the host of that show I used to date way back in the day.
Michelle Malcolm?
No, not
I used to date Michelle,
not Big Head Michelle. No.
Please name Michelle Malcolm, but you never tell me that.
So,
I
oh,
thought his voice.
you mean Tamara Sanders?
No,
Who?
no. Toya.
You was dating all these people, right?
Toya
Hey,
Adams.
Dyson, cut it out.
From the CM show.
Hey, look
You
at
scout about it, nasty
Anna
five.
up there. She couldn't wait.
Say, I know.
So tell us about Teen Spirit.
No, I remember the show back in the day. Like the opener of the show was Ecclesia. I remember these things, and at that time, I graduated in '95. All right, so at that time, I was interning at Commonwealth Studio with Dylan McKenzie. So I remember. I'm not sure. I don't know if you were either host, co-host, but you had something going on in there because I seen you a few times in that mix.
I don't even listen. I
Yeah.
started my recording music career at 27 years ago. So
Right.
I know I always wanted to be on Teen Spirit. I don't remember if I ever was. But
Yeah,
I
man.
was the secret fourth member of Ecclesia, but
Really?
yes. Stefan actually started this group called
On the
Supernatural
fly, Sabria.
when I was 17, and we won our first Caribbean Gospel Music Marlin Award as the part of Supernatural with Lavad Manifest Parks.
This is after Ecclesia, right?
after Ecclesia.
Okay.
So that was probably the connection because I used to go to BFM,
Okay.
Christian Massive,
Yes.
Marky Max, Singathon,
And all of these
Landlord.
people used to record early in Commonwealth Studio.
My first song I recorded at Commonwealth Studio with Dylan McKenzie.
There you go. So this is when Dylan and Kevin was alive back then. I used to run the sessions. So this is what I'm trying to say. Pardon me?
You was a music man then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I remember. So yeah, just a little history lesson there.
But even
Long
with that,
time.
right, I feel like hip hop has been instrumental in our movement to get like a peaceful revolution. Because like
Right.
when I first heard hip hop, I was like, what a sick. I only first listened to Criss Cross because we only used to listen to gospel music, me and my sister, right? When I heard Criss Cross, that was it. Then MC Hammer come out, and then Missy Elliott, and then the Fugees. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, I gotta
Yeah.
do hip hop. So I used to
Yeah.
write songs with my guitar. I used to write hip hop songs. I used to write reggae songs. Then when I came back home after doing music business and getting the grants to do those 2 music videos, I started writing jingles and things to make money. JP said what songs I have out. The
R.I.P.
jingle is
Manifest.
more popular than the song. So the Shoe Village shoes for all walks of life. I recorded that 20
Confident
years ago.
style.
K-Mac asking me what songs. K-Mac, when I came over here, I got hooked up with Wu-Tang. So I did songs for them.
He's talking about you or me?
He's talking
Government.
about JP.
You talking about the big JP right now. Not to that. I got that shit going. The big JP right now.
All right, big JP.
All right, music people. 51 years later, though, Wednesday's independence. 51 years later. Even musically, you see, y'all tell me where it started. We talk hip hop is a good example too about music. Recently, I had a friend tell me after watching a show of a Bahamian artist. He said, young music isn't risky enough. It's not ratchet enough. It's not daring enough. Risque is not.
Stay in your
Yeah.
lane.
No, but I'm saying like
Why
hip-hop
you
back
guys
then-
stay in his lane? So you mean to tell me Dyson? So you mean to tell me Dyson can't go twerk it? Dyson can't twerk now.
No,
he can't work.
Need to
I know he used to take
conform
off his
what-
shirts at concerts
what
and
they-
things.
He still does
he
do that.
definitely does that. He does that.
I ain't doing
He
that no
still do
more.
that.
That's pretty risque to me. I mean, I can't take off my shirt to do no.
It's
concert.
2024 today. You got to get extra risque to stand out.
Ooh, child. Make it rain.
my-
on him.
My thing is, you said, say that statement again. How you feel about hip hop music and
This
the
started
revolution.
this started as
Go
a
ahead.
very
Oh, hey, Mike
responsible.
was talking to me, bro. He said he played a few of my shows as a
Hey.
drummer. I know who that is now. I
We
used to
can't,
talk to
we can't
Wu-Tang
stick on a topic for long, man. Politics
I'm
boring.
saying.
Like,
I'm saying we started out
Oh,
as a
right,
very
right.
responsible show. I was like, man, we can have some high level people watching this show.
no,
We can get
No.
some real endorsements
no.
Now these niggas talking about twerking and taking
Yes.
off shirts and shit.
Yes.
You started
That's
out
part of the culture, man.
very good. You started out very
I trying
good.
to bring
guy.
it back. I
Glad
trying
you
to
was
bring it
impressed,
back,
sir.
I trying to bring it back.
So
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Up
Oh.
until today, I've never heard of you, known who you were, anything like that. So, what would you say? Like, give me 5 things that you would describe yourself as.
To a perspective,
Any perspective. No, no real. Any
what I would
perspective.
Stop it,
describe
Jabir.
myself as.
Stop. Stop.
Yeah.
The first thing I would describe myself as is a relentless child protection advocate,
Hmm.
as an
Don't
accomplished
be a gambler.
international award-winning music and film executive.
Marlin Award.
That's a long
Mhm.
Marlin Awards. I won the John Lennon songwriting contest when I was 19.
Cool.
What else? I'm an auntie of 4 boys.
Nice.
You might know their father, Levan Superman Sands, the Olympic medalist.
Shout out to Levan.
I
And
don't
now
know who that
coaching
is.
and
Danielle,
I
my
know him.
sister. What else? Recently, I started directing plays for theater, so I'm going to shout out Shakespeare in Paradise Short Tales. I'm going to direct one of their plays again. So I'm multidisciplinary when it comes to directing in the arts, music, film, theater,
Right.
etc. I like sports. Like I started my senior girls basketball team at Temple Christian. Shout out. We won the pennant, which is the regular season, and
who y'all
Sac
play against?
Sock
Y'all
beat
win
us
against
by
who?
2 points, but the girl who just came from Jamaica and joined the team, I scrap up the team. So she gone and she shoot the other 2 points on their rim, and that was the end of the game. So I said, Lord, I don't know.
Okay.
So
All
big
right.
in athletics. I got more balls than all of y'all because I have footballs, golf balls,
Basketballs.
dodgeballs,
Basketballs.
That's my ministry with the kids in Elizabeth.
Yeah, but
just
I got a
go on the
bag
park
full of
and play with
marbles
them.
though, Tada.
Your marbles beat my balls, man.
I got a bag full of balls, y'all.
Anna, anything else?
Sorry, Doc. I'm trying to keep it together.
No,
Sorry.
so
It's too
I
late.
saw in my attempt to try and, when Dyson told us who
That's
our
right.
next guest would have been,
Swing.
in my attempt to try and do research, I found your YouTube channel. And one of the songs I saw on there, I think it was called Bum Bum or sorts. So coming on here today, I didn't even know about the music exec, with politics, any of that stuff. So that was part of my impression. And I tried to look up even more. I said, well, that's an old song. So let me see if there's something new. And I didn't see anything new. Would you say that your perspective on what you think men are the same as it was back
That's
then
one
when you
song
made?
out of 200 songs.
Again, I said off of your YouTube page.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that song was one song out of 200 songs that I've written.
Uh-huh.
So that's definitely a perspective that is needed. Y'all can check out Bum Bum on YouTube because it's a real thing. It's real life.
Uh-huh.
But I like men. I mean, I'm not a man hater. Some people try to position me as though I don't like men when I have 4 nephews, 1 brother-in-law, 1 father. Like, really? Why do I not like men?
But
Just
that's why I'm asking, because like you said, there are multiple, but I only went off of what I saw on the YouTube page, and then I tried to look to see if there was anything after that could give like a different perspective, and it wasn't.
No, ain't nothing after that.
Oh.
Like I said, I put music on the back burner for 15 years.
15.
15 years I've been a
Okay.
child protection advocate.
Okay.
All
You
right.
coming back?
But maybe I think it would be a
when
good
you in your
idea.
seat.
I don't know because I know you say you put music on the back burner, but if it were like a consumer, someone like me who didn't know, what you did or what not, it would probably be good to have some of your child advocate stuff on that page, or maybe even replace some of the old content that was there, because it can be misleading.
See, I have like a bunch of YouTube
I know.
pages. So one of the pages that doesn't have many followers probably has my political stuff. And then Rise Bahamas, which you can also find on YouTube, has the songs that I've written for child protection.
Oh,
specifically.
lovely.
So if you
Very
go
quickly.
to Rise Bahamas YouTube, you'll see the We Won't Rest theme
Other
song and other stuff
Okay.
particular to the movement.
Tada, with Rise Bahamas, because I don't think you actually said exactly what one of the causes of it, I think is fantastic that Rise Bahamas is being able to accomplish. Can you just quickly tell us about that?
All right, I'm typing in the website now. RiseBahamas.net is the website. And we're actually an activist-led movement that teaches or tries to guide Bahamians toward this concept of, instead of just voting once every 5 years as your democratic right, you have other ways that you can participate in the democratic process. You can sign petitions and you can share petitions. You can invite people to our voluntary events, beach cleanups. We can attend public awareness events. You can volunteer even for like service organizations like Rotary and Kiwanis and other things like that. You can run for office. You can write your member of parliament and say, hey, I think this needs to get done, and start a whole group of neighbors who sign on to your petition and present it to your parliamentarian by email, in person. Like, you can do things. So that's the main thing. Rise Bahamas encourages citizen action on important issues, but child protection and the implementation of local government for New Providence have been the two major things we've worked on over the past 10 years. Marco's Alert and the sex offender registry were the two things that we fought for almost a decade that finally came about. And if we had not fought for them, they would not exist today.
Dyson, turn that background music off and stay on
It's
for 30.
our show. The only thing I
Why,
can do,
K-Mac? Why we got to stay on for 30 more additional minutes? Just curious.
the only thing I can do is beg and plead.
Besides,
Back
for
on the
you want to
show.
look at me for 30 more minutes.
Oh Lord.
You say he handsome, so why
Just
not
saying.
look at you?
Damn
Look at him
right.
close enough in the camera. Look at us.
Damn right. All day, every day.
I thought Kent was handsome.
No, not on this show. Not on this show. Not on this show.
Dyson,
Oh, you
I
saw
know.
I was handsome? That's it.
Yeah, the only thing I can do is
He's
beg.
married man, though. I
not to
can't call
commit.
him handsome too much.
Not on this show. Hey, listen to that. My head already
Wait,
big.
so married men
My head
can't be
already big, so
handsome?
tell him it don't make
They
a
can be
difference.
handsome, but I ain't want no trouble in the home front.
It ain't gonna be no
Saying that
different. My
men
head
are
already
attracted-
big.
come on. That shouldn't cause trouble. I think their wives would be happy to know that other people
true.
think that their husbands are handsome.
That's right. You
Your
tell him,
wives
Anna.
probably said, please come carry this man just for a couple, take care of him for a week. I can come for him when I'm ready. But listen, yesterday it would be a pleasure to have you back on the show. We still have more time, and I wanted to ask the question because we talking about independence is Big Bahamas on Dr. Bazard Sheikh representing for all of us today. Appreciate it, Doc. In final words, I want us to think of what exactly 51 years now independent. What is it that we are proud of, and in particularly, I would like for us to think along the lines of something that took place in this 51st year, like in the past year.
Oh gosh, wow. Good luck
That's
with
a lot.
that.
It's not gonna be easy to answer.
I think I have my answer.
Okay.
I
you want all of
don't,
us
I
to
don't
do
have my answer.
Yeah, I want one from everybody.
Oh, wow.
And it
Say
can't
it
be.
again.
You can't keep everybody
I actually
answer.
have one. I actually have
Run that
one.
back.
Again.
Run that
The
back.
question is, it's very simple. But in the past year of being Bahamian,
Mhm.
what is it that you are proud of? Something that took place in the past year. It could be big, it could be small, it could be anything.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, since you have yours ready.
Remember I told you I worked in the film industry as well, not as long as music, but I was able to second assistant direct on this US TV show called Johnson. It's available on the Bounce Network on Cable Bahamas, and it's on Hulu.
Nice.
It's executive produced by Cedric the Entertainer, and we had Lovato Stubbs, who was a Bahamian filmmaker.
Conk
He
Boy
directed
Films.
Conk
Yeah.
Boy Films. He directed the 2 Bahamian episodes shot in New Providence.
Nice.
And just be on the lookout for that. We have some exciting news in terms of a featured artist that is going to appear in those episodes as well. So I'm just excited that the music and film industry in the Bahamas is about to take off in a way that we probably never could have comprehended in recent years.
Bravo, bravo. Who next?
I'll go last.
Because he's the least Bahamian
I'd
with
say,
America.
because I think our last
I
two,
mean, I in the same boat with JP, so
Good.
yeah, the last two may have difficulty because they're outside the country, but I gotta say I was very proud. I can't pick one thing, to be honest. But I was very proud to see the way our 50th independence was executed. I think it was executed very well. And that just tells me that when we're serious about doing something on a professional level, on a very high level of performance, It was nice to see it was nice to see some good Bahamian performing arts and culture. It was good to see some young people participating, so many young people participating in performing arts and culture. So we got to see a lot of tradition. We got to see a lot of new technology. We got to see the nice drone show and all of that. Like, I was very, and the fireworks was off the chain. But the show itself was very good, and I was very proud to see that executed well. We don't get a lot of national pride moments. We get probably one a year around Independence Time, and maybe one again around Junkanoo, and that's about it. So it was very good. I think that was one of the better Independence celebrations, and I've been to many because of my mom. I've been to many. I've seen many of them, and that's one of the better ones or the best one I've ever seen. On something on a more social level, and this is probably more than a year ago, talking about children's rights and protection. Um, I, I don't know if Tada know, but when I was involved in a situation with a gentleman who was trying to assault a young girl on the street.
You pull that kung fu thing out on him, right?
I didn't touch him. Unfortunately. I didn't get to touch him.
You slay him in the spirit.
Unfortunately,
I didn't get to touch him. Because he immediately ran, and I went straight to the girl. But everybody jumped. Everybody, all the men who were around, jumped out of their cars.
Nice.
Right? That was last year. Thank you, came back. And all the men that was around jumped out of their cars, chased the guy down the street. There's some off-duty police who chased the guy. I sent out a voice note, and he was caught in like maybe 2 hours. Right? Because people moved really quick. I called the school. The school moved quick. The principal spoke to this person. I spoke to somebody who spoke to the principal, who spoke to the teacher, who spoke to this person. I didn't know who the girl was. They found who the girl was, able to carry her, and she identified her attacker that same day. All of this happened in one day.
Yeah.
wow.
She
I remember
identified the guy, and he was arrested. All this happened in one day before my 3 o'clock meeting. This happened around 10 a.m. At my 3 o'clock meeting, he was already locked up. And
Fantastic.
so that was fantastic. That was fantastic. And again, it shows me that we can do things just as good as any other nation, as any first world nation. When we really want to, we can get things done, and we can get it done effectively and efficiently.
The people.
So I'm right there with you on children's rights and protections. I believe in the death penalty for raping children. I think that the death penalty is adequate, and I'm very serious about that. So if you're gonna come in and implement things on that kind of level, because nobody can take it serious unless you make it that serious,
Right.
I'm behind you 100%.
Right.
So that's my good thing. But one caveat I have to give a shout out to Tada. I work with Tada 2 ways in 2 different capacities. Number one, Tada and I indirectly produced the songs together. We didn't produce it at the same time. But I made the track 24 years ago. I made a track for Tada. You were away at the time, right?
I was in Canada. We recorded the song here,
He was in
but
Canada.
I didn't realize you did anything on the track until I was in Canada because I was singing it and stuff. So I was like, wanted to give shout outs to Ray,
And that's,
you know?
yeah, man. That's one of the tracks I
okay.
built from scratch. Like we
Same
didn't use
crew.
any samples on the track. We didn't use any samples on the track. I built a track from scratch, and to hear Tada sing on it is really cool. That's the first thing, because she was always one of my favorite artists, Bahamian artists back in the '90s, right? And secondly, Tada sang
Late.
late '90s.
Lately.
By making it
Tada.
sound like you was singing 91 and shit.
Wow.
Tada sang the jingle for my first business, my first actual business, licensed business, my first actual business. Tada sang the jingle for that business. Shop BVR. I can sing it right now. ShopBVR.com.
Go ahead, Ken, sing it if you want to hear. Inquiring ears want to know. Sing, sir.
No.
Okay.
Like that.
So I want to say
Beautiful, man.
publicly, I'm very happy to have worked with Tada in those capacities.
Thank you.
Flowers.
And thanks to your late great mother, Patricia Bazard. I had her on my radio show. That's another way I've contributed that I did that for 7 years. She was the leader of the National Children's Choir and a cultural icon, worked at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. Like, rich family heritage you got there, Mr. Military Kung Fu, martial arts man. Empire. Also,
Can't. The whole kiss thing, that's my thing now. Stop biting.
Sorry,
me.
man.
Come on. Stop
I get
biting.
carried
Now. Come
away.
on.
I
You
get
better,
carried away.
you better
Chasing that
salute.
way.
You better salute, nigga. No, none of this. That's my shit.
Y'all proud of anything? You and
For
I
me?
don't know.
Listen.
Um,
Listen.
I'm
Aunts.
what? I thought you said you were last.
Who won it? Oh yeah, you did say you lost. You said you lost. Go ahead.
Jeez.
And you said within the last year, right? Within the
Yeah.
last rolling 12
Within the
months.
last year. Yeah, because we celebrate
So-
independence every year. So
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
but
go.
truly,
wrong with
I
us?
would say something that I feel proud about is the stuff that Tada is doing. I know this is all new to me, but every single thing that she stands for and that she was talking about, like it speaks to my inner child, you know?
Mm,
So I'm
mhm.
proud of that. We have a Bahamian woman at that, pushing for these things, advocating for these things. Sound like she loved music and she put music to the back burner to do this. So that's something that I'm proud about as a Bahamian.
Yeah, he's a bongo ass nigga came out.
thank you,
Applaud
Aaron. I
that.
appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
All right, take us home.
At home we shall go. Listen, I'm proud of us on this show right here. Each and every one of y'all, you two aunts. Okay? Because guess what, guys? You know, from putting something together just out of the blue to being nominated, Tyson, remember this now?
Yeah,
You may not have
yeah.
won, but we've been nominated for what's that? Show of the year? Whatever the hell y'all want to call it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
vlog,
Vlog
podcast.
and yeah, this shit right here, this shit, right?
Mhm.
So I'm proud of us, man. So I want to commend everybody, and boy, look, I can't go on right. I want to commend everybody besides me. I want to commend everybody on this show for playing their part, playing their role, sticking to the plan. Because it's hard nowadays to stick to the plan long term. Because there's so many different distractions that can make you alleviate from the common goal. All right? And I know sometimes, well, all the times, I'm on this show like I'm the shit, because I am. But all of y'all are the shit. All right? Hey, don't get
Hold on,
sentimental
clip
now.
that,
Relax.
clip that.
Don't get all sentimental now. Don't get sentimental. I'll take it back.
Clip that,
I'll take
clip
it back.
that.
I swear to God, I'll take it back.
Clip
I'll
that.
take it back right now.
I feel like I have to have the last word now after one said that it's eloquent speech from the throne and shit.
Can I get more eloquent? Can I get just slightly more? Just
Eloquent,
slightly more.
man. You eloquent.
And guess what? It's like every single week we come back to this show, right? And you all get to, raise your eyes on this. You know what I'm saying? So, just saying, like,
So one.
how much better y'all want it to be? I commend everybody on the show, man. That's my 5 cents on the game right there.
On a serious note, Dyson, I just want to say I commend all the people in the Bahamas that are hummingbirds. The Hummingbirds United aren't just the candidates; it's the ones who work in the organizations, the volunteers who do their podcasts, who
Yep.
out there like coaching and training and kids.
Yep.
And, like, the Bahamas is so full. Like we have pigeons more than hummingbirds and seagulls. But listen, every time y'all see a bird flying around, think about
Yep.
that story with the hummingbirds, because I know that
Yep.
y'all are watching. Sabria, Ken, Ruckus Man, all of y'all are hummingbirds, and I congratulate y'all. And hey, let's keep it going.
My new group is called the Dodo Birds.
The dodo birds.
Dodo Birds.
Live for 2025. Y'all check it out. Theaters everywhere. All right,
Yes,
so
sir.
that's the Sup'm Show, episode 91, with our special guests. A beautiful conversation today. Thank you again for
You're welcome.
committing and showing up. We appreciate it. We'd
Don't
love
be
to
a
have you
stranger.
back.
Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger.
Sure.
We'd love to have you back, especially when you start the campaign. Let's get some more things out there about what your plans are and what your expectation and anticipation and hope is for the country as we move into when is the next election? 26, 2020.
Yeah, before then. Most
Oh,
likely.
before that. All right.
It
Yeah,
has to
we
be by
got
September 2026.
okay. So we got a lot of time before then. Episode 91. Thank you all for joining us.
Also, hold on.
Okay.
Before we head out, for everybody out there, artists, producer, it's an open platform. Y'all come on and tell your story, man. You know?
Fox.
Straight like that. We give
Well, I
you a
got all of them in
platform.
my phone. If y'all want to reach Shadfer and Bahamian Trey and Vividly Val and them, like, just
Sounds
We'd
great.
love to have Bahamian Trey on the show.
I like
That's it.
Bam and Trey. I like Bam and Trey. I really like him.
Yeah, let me reach out to him for real. All right. So next
Hey,
show.
just remember who put the bug in your ear. That's not okay.
Yes, you did. You did.
one.
You did.
JP knows.
Next show, I don't know. I don't know what we want to talk about next show. So y'all can send us an email to sup'mshow@gmail.com. Leave a comment on any of our pages. Make sure you follow, subscribe so you get the notification when we go live again. We're going to have a lot of great hosts. We have 9 more shows until we take a break. And then the show is going to grow even bigger and better, as if it's actually possible. Yes, it is. We're doing it. All right. Peace out, y'all.